I'm Nira Berry, motivational speaker, life and happiness coach, and your host of Happy and Healthy, where we explore and discover all the many ways of keeping you feeling happy and healthy. And remember to stay tuned to the end following the interview for my Good to Know segment, where I've always got something good to share with you. So today we're going to discover all about the ARC organization here in Montgomery County and everything that it provides, for our community. So let me first thank my guests for being on our show today. I'm going to introduce them. So first introduce the CEO of the ARC, and that's Daria Cervantes. And thank you for being here. And also Aileen O'Hare. She's a self-advocate who utilizes some of the programs in Montgomery County and also serves on the ARC Maryland Board of Directors. So thank you again for being here. So Daria, let me start with you. Can you tell me a little bit about what is the ARC and, for those of us who may not know what it is?
Sure. So the ARC Montgomery County connects people of all ages and abilities with their communities to build fulfilling lives. So we have a variety of programs, some of which are exclusively for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And then we also have programs that are for people with and without disabilities. The ARC is a national organization, and we are a local chapter here in Montgomery County. We've been around since 1958, and we support about 1,100 people a year, both people with and without intellectual and developmental disabilities.
Wow. Yeah, I read up on it and I saw that since like 1958, it's a long time. Wow.
Mhm.
And also that you are the largest national community-based organization advocating for and serving people with intellectual and developmental disabilities and their families, like in the nation. And I think that's really wonderful. So Daria, what made you interested in the ARC?
Well, I grew up with a cousin who had Down syndrome. I grew up in New Jersey, and my cousin was a part of our family life, just like all of our family members were. I never knew anything other than inclusion because my cousin was just part of the family. When I graduated from school and was applying for jobs, I came across a direct support professional position that was available at the ARC Montgomery County. And I didn't really know that I would spend 32 years here, but that's how long it's been. So I guess you would
Wow.
say I liked it, and I found the mission to really be compelling, and it was really living the way I had grown up, because from day one, my feeling or sense here at the ARC Montgomery County is that it was all about getting people who have intellectual and developmental disabilities to be seen for their value and contributions to the greater community.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That really is. So can you share with us like and give some examples of some of your core programs?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a program called Community Living Services, and we support people with their day-to-day living activities. So it could be a situation where it's a home that we operate. We operate 35 homes throughout Montgomery County. Each home has anywhere to between 2 and 5 people who live there. And we have a team of direct support professionals who work in the home based on the needs of the people who live in that home. So some people need very minimal support. So the time that their DSPs spend with them is not a lot of support. And other people need to have 24-hour support. So it's all tailored to the needs of the people who live there. So it could be assisting people with day-to-day chores. It could be assisting them with meal preparation. It's all very individualized. And we also have a program where we go into the person's home, whether they live at home with their family or whether they have their own place like Aileen does. And we provide direct support professionals to go into that home to provide the assistance that people need. It could be help paying their bills once a month. It could be grocery shopping. It could be assistance with medical appointments and things along those lines. So everything that we do is really tailored to meet the needs of the person that we're providing the support to. We
That's
also
wonderful. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. We also have employment and day programs. So we have an employment program for people with IDD where we support them out at their jobs. So, for example, we have a group of people who work at a local plumbing company, and they get all the supplies ready each day that the plumbers need for the jobs they'll be working on that day. And at the end of the day, they put the equipment back and get it ready for the next day. We have people working in offices. We have people working for the federal government. We have people working in a variety of locations and businesses throughout Montgomery County. And we've all heard about the Great Resignation. And lots of people are looking for different things to do right now. So if you're a local business and you are looking for some valuable and dedicated employees, I hope you'll get in touch with us and we might just have the candidate that you're looking for.
Okay, great. Well, you can let them know at the end how to get in touch with you.
Great.
So, Aileen, I'd love to find out about how you utilize the ARC services.
I have a support staff person that comes in twice a week for 7 hours a week, basically. And before COVID, we were going to the grocery store and things, but now that since COVID, I've been ordering my groceries online, and my support staff helps with that. We do some cooking, we go for walks. We do things that we can do safely at the moment.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's really helpful for you to
Yeah,
have the person come in. So, do you have is that just once a week or is it spread out over a few days?
she comes usually Friday and Saturday.
Okay, great. And how many years have you been utilizing services?
Since 1999.
Wow. And are you living independently?
Yes, I live in my own condo, which I own in Montgomery Village.
That's
One
fantastic.
bedroom condo.
So do you feel that the ARC has been really helpful in that regard and helping
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
That's wonderful.
yeah,
That's great. And I know, I think you work for the Department of Agriculture. Is that
yeah.
correct? That's
Yes, I've been there 31 years.
wow. And I guess now you're working through Zoom. Yeah,
Well, yeah, we're working through teams and working on our assignments that are assigned to us.
yeah, that's great. Well, well, thank you for sharing that. And are there any other programs that you have utilized through the ARC through the
Um,
years?
Not
Have
really. I'm
you
on their
always?
board, and um at the moment I'm facilitator of our Stand Together group, which is our self-advocacy group that we meet once a month. That the group is actually 40 something years old, but we're starting it again because we lost a lot of the people during COVID,
Oh,
and just recently figured out how to get it going again. So I'm sort of spearheading that here in Montgomery County. And we have a meeting coming up on Saturday.
wonderful. Well, I'm really glad to hear that you have this self-advocacy group, and that's really important. So, thank you for that information. So Daria, you spoke about like some of the general programs that you have. Who are some of the people that utilize it? Do you have any specific people that come to mind?
Yeah, so actually, we have a couple of programs that are available to everyone that we haven't touched on yet. So we have a fully inclusive child care center, which is located in Silver Spring. It's called the Karasik Family Infant Child Care Center. and it was the first fully inclusive child care center in the state of Maryland. So children with and without disabilities, special health care needs, typically developing children, they learn, play, and grow together side by side in the classroom. And it's really a valuable community resource because not only does it provide daycare for children who have medical needs or have disabilities, it's just a great neighborhood child care center that a lot of families in that neighborhood take advantage of. A specific example of a child who was helped by that program is a child who has diabetes. Because we have a nurse on staff, the family was a lot more comfortable having their child who has diabetes being there because the nurse is able to provide insulin, able to monitor the blood sugar readings, so that the family is secure when they go to work, that their child is being properly cared for. And also for children who need it, if there are services that they're eligible for that they get through the school, such as OT or speech or physical therapy, those therapists come from Montgomery County Public Schools right to our location so that the family doesn't have to worry about running around to pick up their child, drop them off in the morning, pick them up, take them to their therapy, and then bring them back at the end of the day. So it's really a valuable opportunity for working families to have some quality childcare with a nurse on site so that they can go to work and know that their child is safe. We also have a
Let me just ask
respite.
you, I'm sorry, let me just ask you about that. Do you have more than one location, or is it just in that one location that you're referring to?
We have one location, and at that location, it is for children 6 weeks through 10 years. So there is a school age component with before and after school for kids up to 10 years.
Okay, great, great. So I want to hear more of your programs that other families can utilize. We're going to just take a short break, and then when we're going to come back, we'll hear more about that. So you've been watching Happy and Healthy. I'm Nira Berry, your host, and we'll be right back.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you!
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Nira Berry, your host of Happy and Healthy, and we're speaking all about the ARC organization. And we were speaking with Daria, who's the CEO. And Daria, you were going to tell us some other programs that families can utilize.
We have a respite coordination program, and this is for caregivers who are taking care of either frail seniors or someone with a disability who lives in their house. It could be a physical disability, it could be an intellectual disability, and it is for people of all ages who have disabilities. There's no requirement that caregivers of people with disabilities, it can be for children, teenagers, young adults. So caregiving is really stressful and it takes a lot of demands on the caregiver.
Absolutely.
So respite is designed to give the caregiver a break so that they can take care of themselves, take care of other needs of the family, and know that the person that they're acting as the caregiver for is getting the support and assistance they need so they can come back refreshed and ready to face the day ahead of them. So we are able to connect people with a consortium of vendors who provide respite, some of which can be in the home of the person, some of which is in a respite facility. Some people use respite to take advantage of some classes or some camps so that the rest of the family, in the case of a child, let's say, the rest of the family is able to do some things that might be a little bit more difficult for them to do when also caring for a child with a disability or a complex medical need, or taking care of an elderly grandparent who lives with them.
Can you give me an
So
example of the camp you were speaking about?
sure. So there are lots of opportunities of camps for children, particularly over the summer, that people have used some of their respite funding to enable their children to attend those classes, or camps, I should say. And it really gives the children an opportunity to do something different, to do something not with their immediate family, and the opportunity to have some new experiences. And it's really had a lot of positive outcomes for the people that take advantage of it.
So they so people want to find, to get the funding. They contact you, and then you show them how they can participate in it.
Yes, there's an application process. So families would fill out the application, and once they were deemed eligible to get the respite services, we would connect them with vendors that are providing the type of respite that they're looking for, whether that's in home or at a facility, or whatever works best for that person and for that family.
That's a really important service that you offer, because especially many people are in the sandwich generation, and they're taking care of frail seniors, or they need people to come in and help them, and with all these issues. It's very important to be able to help them so that they can continue to help the person that needs their help. So that's really wonderful. I was just curious, Aileen, how you got started with the ARC. Would you mind sharing about
Yeah,
that?
I got started in the early 90s. I found out about Stand Together, which is our self-advocacy group. And I started going to the meetings, and I got real curious about things, and I started learning about different services and different agencies and programs and stuff. And
So they helped you find out what's available.
yeah, but they also helped me get started in advocacy, which I started with in the early 90s and just kept kind of going.
That's wonderful. And when you say self-advocacy, what are some of the things that you do?
Well, I've advocated for the direct care staff wages every year that's come up. There always seems to be like a big need for some type of advocacy on behalf of the ARC and other agencies, but mostly I go to Annapolis and DC, and I speak to our elected officials, because a lot of times people like Daria could go and speak to them and say, well, we need to increase the wages for our direct care staff. They're kind of like, it's just the ARC again. But if somebody like me goes and can tell their story about how it affects people with disabilities, then the elected officials are like, oh,
Yeah,
I really never saw it from that side.
absolutely. You're doing
Aileen is 100% correct. When we go, the ARC has been an advocacy advocate, for lack of a better word, since our very beginning. And Aileen's perfectly right. For me to say something as a professional in a field doesn't have the impact as the person who really is utilizing services, or who different decisions that are being made by our legislators, the impact it's going to have on their lives. And a lot of the things that we advocate for that maybe started as a need within the IDD community benefit everyone. So,
course.
one of the most recent things that we spend a lot of time advocating for is adult changing tables in public restrooms. And that's not something that people would really think about until you yourself or a loved one have a need to utilize something like that in an airport. So that advocacy really started as day program started to close, and we started to get more and more people out in the community, and personal care became a need. And now, once these changing tables are more readily available in the state of Maryland, it's something that's going to benefit the entire community, not just people with IDD.
Yeah, I mean, people don't realize how important it is, and thank you, Aileen, for sharing that. The things that you do are so important until they need it. Until they need the services, and so I think that's why it hits home. When
Mhm.
like Aileen can advocate.
Well, and I think it's also important for me to be out there because I'm advocating for something that maybe doesn't affect maybe you or Daria right now, but down the line, any of us can become disabled at any time. And
So
if
true. It's so true.
if we don't have the access to the direct care staff that we need because of shortages or whatever, we're going to be in really big trouble down the line.
Right, and then and that can have a whole ripple effect of how there's so many different different things that can happen if you don't have the care of somebody else not that they need, or the services that for everybody else around them. And so it's very important. So that's wonderful that you do that. So Daria, are there other services for families, and also can you give us like any tips that maybe people could utilize?
Well, I think, it's really important for all of us to take care of ourselves and take care of each other. And if there is something that your family needs, whether you have a family member with an intellectual disability or not, I would encourage you to take a look at our website and see if there is something on there that you think might be able to fit your needs, and get in touch with us and see if it's something we would be able to provide for you. We also add a resource. So if there's something that we're not able to provide, we might be able to direct you to another organization within Montgomery County who could provide the assistance that you're looking for.
That's really helpful to know that. So why don't you give us your website if somebody wanted to get that information?
Our website is www.thearcmontgomerycounty.org.
Okay, wonderful. And do you have like any pearls of wisdom for the either somebody that may need the services or just the community at large?
I would say, the biggest thing that I would suggest is if you're out and about doing your grocery shopping, running your errands, and you run into somebody who is a little bit different than you, they might have a disability. You're not sure if they do, say hi, start a conversation, get to know each other, get to know what makes all of us unique and makes us part of the great fabric of Montgomery County.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful, and it's so true because it's not just communicating just with somebody that may be different, but with everybody, and because we're all part of the fabric, and so that's really beautiful. So thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you so much, Daria and Aileen, for being my guests today. You're going to continue with our Happy and Healthy show with our Good to Know segment that'll be following the short break. So stay tuned.
Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. prediabetes does. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
And now it's time for Good to Know, where I've always got something good to share with you that will help you be more successful and feel like a winner in life and work, and ultimately happier in general. So today I'm going to speak to you about respect. And respect is an important component of both interpersonal relationships and personal identity. And it's also a key factor in attaining success and happiness. And so, as I see it, there's 3 components of respect. First thing, there's self-respect. The second is being respected by other people. And the third is respecting other people in general. And there's a saying, an old adage that says that money can't buy you happiness. But did you know that respect actually can? There's scientific studies showing that if you feel respected, even if you're in a lower economic status, you will feel happier than a more wealthier person who does not feel respected. So the actual secret to happiness is really respect and, self-fulfillment. And so did you know that respecting others builds our own self-confidence? And it adds to our psychological well-being, which in turn adds to our success. Many of my coaching clients have discovered that when they respect others, they notice that they in turn feel respected. Some examples of how you can build up your respecting strength can include a few skills. And as I see it, one of them is listening, which is basically just like letting the other person know that they're being heard, just like really validating that person. And another aspect is being supportive. And this is just really acknowledging that what the person does matters. And you could just say something positive, about them. And of course, be kind and nice. I mean, that's really just the golden rule, right? So I'm asking you to think about, how do you treat people that you come in contact with during the day or at home? Do you give them the respect that they deserve? You will actually feel better about yourself when you treat someone else in the way you want to be treated. So if you have a question about this or would like to contact me, the happiness coach, you can reach me at info@niraberry.com. Also, for more info, my website at niraberry.com. And so I thank you so much for watching my Happy and Healthy show and my Good to Know segment. I'm Nira Berry, your host, and I hope you have a happy day.